Good evening, ASA. You are the first person tonight, so welcome. We'll wait to see who else joins. As per usual, we do a bit of Q&A. Hello, Zimmy. Q&A with regards to financial questions that you might have. Investment planning, retirement planning, estate planning, any of those. So, who else is coming in? Ikhshan, good evening to you. And Maps, good evening to you. Welcome, folks. We shall start as soon as the first person puts in a question for tonight. Hello, Terry. Welcome to you. ARP 007, Kaya 825, CJ, good evening, folks. Dave van der Merwe, goeienaand, good evening. Lady D, more likes can attract viewers, keep it up, yay. So yes, folks, good evening to you all. Hilton, Lady D, to those of you that are here. I don't know if you've been on one of my lives from before, but basically I do a bit of Q&A with regards to, hello Hilton, I do a bit of Q&A with regards to financial advice. So you post your question, I try and answer it, and that's basically what we do for the next hours. Good evening, Maposh, Lady D, welcome. So anybody that's got a question for us, let's go. We have been talking quite a bit about investments lately. We've been talking about GPF funds, etc. Good evening, Tai, and Geneve, and Floyd Sullivan, good evening. So I reckon we will most probably carry on with that, but a very interesting thing, good evening, Clary Roots. Chris Eminas, this week somebody made a very interesting statement. Well, not interesting, but I think it was just a very poignant statement about people that retires from the GPF and they complain that their pension fund will not be retained for their beneficiaries, which is not true because beneficiaries will inherit your pension fund for a period of time after you do pass away. But the fact that one can use life cover in order to replace that, if you really want to leave something for the beneficiaries. In any case, before I get on that, Ikhshan Baikis, hi today, please explain the benefits of leaving everything in a trust instead of directly to the kids. So Ikhshan, there's a number of benefits with regards to that. First of all, if it is in a trust, it is protected against creditors. Okay, so if you and in your individual capacity has financial problems, your assets is protected in the trust against creditors. Number two, because it's not in your personal estate anymore, there's no estate taxes, no estate duties payable on it in the event of you passing away. Number three, because it's in the form of a trust, you can decide who the trustees must be. And if you choose well in terms of your trustees, people that will look after your financial well-being and that of your beneficiaries, then you know that they won't just go and willy-nilly give your money to children that are still too young to look after it. From a tax point of view, people are these days very much against trust because they say there's lots of taxes. But if you know how to manage a trust in terms of the assets and the liabilities and the profits and so on, then it's not really that bad. So there's quite a number of benefits to having your estate left to a trust and then your children being the beneficiaries of the trust. But it also depends on how big the trust is really, or how big your estate is. It's really not going to benefit anybody with a small estate. If you've got only R1 million that people have to inherit, the cost in the trust is just too high then to make it worthwhile. So, like I said, I've only mentioned like 3 or 4 benefits. There are more, but I think that's the most important ones. It is the protection against creditors. It is the protection against minors using the funds in the wrong way, and the benefit of trustees that you trust that can exercise financial wisdom before they just hand out money. Okay, Sean, I hope that answers it, but if you've got further questions, go for it, mate. Oh, 007, my retirement lump sum is about 15 million. I am getting so much different advice. Am I so confused? Oh, my good man, my good man, my good man. If your retirement lump sum is about 15 million rand, okay. So here's the first thing. On a 15 million rand lump sum, it means that let me just get my calculator. I just want to do something quickly. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. So if you've got 15 million in terms of 1/3, that means that you've got a total of about 45 million. And that means that you've got 30 million rand as your 2/3. Now, if you take 2.5% on 30 million, you're already looking at an income of 750,000 rand per annum. Okay? So let's just start on that little thing of 750,000. That's the minimum income you will get on your 2/3. So that means that you will be in a 39% tax bracket. So you're going to be in high tax bracket in any case. Now, if you've got your other 15 million, this 15 million you're talking about as part of it, so now you've got 45 million, it means that you are now going to have an income, if you don't draw anything, you're now going to have an income that's going to be at least 1,025,000. That means you move up to a 41% tax bracket. So there's really not much of a difference between whether you withdraw 1/3 or whether you leave the 1/3 with the 2/3. The thing is, with the 1/3, you're only going to get 550,000 tax free and then the rest on the sliding scale. So for somebody like yourself, I cannot see that you're really going to have an issue when it comes to retirement, whether you take 1/3 or don't take. Unique in that whatever you decide in retirement, your tax implications is not really going to be much different this side or that side. So my opinion would be that you should not worry about whether you should be taking 1/3 or not. You should be worried more about what type of income do you want, what type of plan do you want, what type of legacy do you want to leave behind, and then make decisions based on that. Because of the size of your pension fund, the tax implications, like I say, is minimal whether you go left or right. It's more going to be, what is it that I want from my pension fund in terms of income, guarantees, legacy, etc., etc. So, my advice would be to you, you've already got a lot of different advice. My further advice would be, get even more insights from other financial advisors. You're welcome to contact me and we can have a bit of a chat without even doing a planning session, because I do believe that you need to have clarity for yourself as to what you want. That's the most important thing for someone like you, what you want, rather than what you're going to do with the money. Because that will make a better determination of how one should be structuring your pension fund. Okay, I hope that helps a little bit, mate. I think it's mate. I just assume it's mate when I see Ob. Okay, let's see who's next year. Ding, 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 ding. I'm just trying to get to the next person's question here. I hope I haven't skipped anybody. Okay, so Floyd Sullivan say, hi, if you have, let's say, 3 tax-free investments, so must the total investment not exceed 33? Yes. Okay, so Floyd, you can have as many tax-free investments as you want. It really doesn't matter. You can have as much as you want. You must just not invest more than 36,000 Rand per year in these tax-free investments, because that is what legislation allows. Up to 36,000, everything that goes into the investment grows tax-free. There's no tax problems. There's no tax implications. There's nothing. But if you invest 36,100 Rand, that extra 100 Rand that's invested, you get taxed on that 41%. It does not matter what your personal tax rate is. Your personal tax rate can be 18%. You are getting taxed at 41% for every Rand that you put in more than 36,000 Rand. So that is the be-all and end-all when it comes to tax-free investments. Do not invest more than 36,000. And you will see, if you go and you open a tax-free investment, it doesn't matter whether you do a tax-free savings account at the bank, a tax-free investment through one of the investment houses, a tax-free unit trust, doesn't matter which one you do. The companies that gives you these tax-free options are going to ask you very clearly, do you have any other tax-free plans? How many other tax-free plans do you have? How much are you contributing into it? Because they want to ensure that they are not the cause of you investing too much. So you will see that if you do open such a tax-free investment, the companies are going to ask you a number of questions. They want to make 100% sure that whatever you want to invest with them is going to make up the 36,000 Rand, or if you already have a different tax-free investment, that what you're going to do with them will not exceed the 36,000, because then they know that you are going to be penalized and you're going to come back to them and most probably complain to them about this. So there we go, Floyd. I hope it answers it for you. Tabo says, we are so grateful for your advice and so on. As for what I'm saying, staying with the GPS, Tabo, I'm very glad to hear that, mate. I absolutely love giving financial advice. It's amazing. 30 years ago, when I started in the industry, if you asked me then if I loved what I did, I would not have said I loved it. But it's amazing. It's just one of those things that, as I've grown in the business, I really enjoyed. I love giving people advice, and especially doing these lives and doing the TikToks and answering all the questions. It just feels like I'm giving back something to the community. So I love it. And I'm glad, I'm very glad, Tabo, if I have actually encouraged you to stay with the GPF. Fantastic, mate. Do your planning well. You will not be sorry. Invite Tash Lee to join. Now, I'm not going to invite Tash Lee. MKM. Hi, Corey. How's it, MKM? How you doing? Tandeka, Msimang, good evening, Valentine. Time to wake up. Okay. It's amazing the names that people give themselves when it comes to profiles. Tai, good evening. How's it, Batman? Bubbles and Zozo and Nolly and Jojo and Christian. Okay, let's see. I'm seeing a lot of people here. I'm just not seeing the questions. Wait, hang on a second. I think I've just missed one or two. Yep, I have indeed. So folks, let me just scroll back a little bit. I will give you, there we go, that was Tabo's comment. So the next comment that I see will be a question or comment. Okay, and let's see who it is. Ntutu, I have opened Satrix RA, contributing 1K per month from this month. Hope this is a good investment. Well, mate, the fact that you've opened a retirement annuity, I think is fantastic. There's actually a very, very, very small percentage of people in South Africa that I believe will not benefit from a retirement annuity. And when I say will not benefit from a retirement annuity, purely because they won't be able to use the tax deductibility. So as long as you can do the tax deductibility, get the rebate for your premiums that you've contributed, your RA is already a winner. The other one, Satrix, I don't know which fund you've chosen in Satrix. Remember, Satrix has got a number of different funds, but I know that Satrix is a good company. They've got good funds. So I'm sure that you've done a good thing by opening your retirement annuity with them. And yeah, what you need to do is you just need to keep an eye on it. Have a look at the portfolio, see if the portfolio, the risk of the portfolio is in line with how much risk you're willing to take, and then keep track of how it's growing. And if it's not growing the way that you like it to grow over years, not over 3 months or 6 months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, if it's not growing, then you need to start thinking about moving the funds. But if the fund is in line with your risk profile and it's giving you returns, great stuff. Congratulations. Theodore and Kunta Kenti. Corey, I am with GPF for 23 years. 15 years more to go to 60. Great stuff. And then you go further to say, you also have an RA. Is it best to buy a life annuity? So Kunta, I'm sure you're going to finish this question a bit later, but I'm going to answer the bit that I've got here. You should not be worrying now, okay, about what you're going to do with your retirement annuity, because you've got 15 years to go. That means you're 45 years old. You've got 15 years to go to retirement. In this next 15 years, there can be a lot of changes in terms of tax legislation, in terms of life and living annuities, like we've seen this year or last year with the two-part system, like we've seen in 2021 with how provident funds have been changed to look the same as pension funds. So there's a lot of stuff that can happen in the next 15 years. So do not even think or worry about whether you should be buying a life annuity when you get to the age of 60 or whether you should be buying a living annuity. For now, concentrate on pumping your retirement annuity. Concentrate on making sure that you are contributing consistently and saving so that you've got enough capital retirement. For me to tell you now a life or living annuity is going to be the best in 15 years for now, it's absolutely useless because we don't know what your circumstances are going to be at that stage. And like I say, we don't know if there's going to be product changes. So don't worry about it, Kunta. All you need to worry about is keep on investing all the way to retirement. That's what you have to do, my mate. That's what you have to worry about. Okay. Yeah, so Kunta, I have actually answered your question before I saw the last part, so that was good. Ansie van Rensburg, good evening. Mama Boys, session ready. Charlene Life, Legacy Digital Program, whatever that means. Sujay, what happens if you deposited more than 36K? Can you then remove the additional without any penalty? No, you can't, Sujay. That is unfortunately the bad thing. So on your tax-free investment, like we said, you can invest 36,000 Rand for the year. That's now from the 1st of March until the 28th of February. You've made a mistake. You've put in 50,000 Rand. Okay. And now you say, oh shit, but I've made a mistake. I need to withdraw 14,000 Rand. Unfortunately, the investment company or the bank has to report to SARS what has been invested. Okay? Even if you do withdraw, they have to report that you actually put 50,000 Rand in. So you will be penalized on that difference of 14,000 Rand. So unfortunately, no. Once you've made the mistake, you're gonna get slapped on the wrist. Although I must be honest with you, Sujay, originally when tax-free investments came into being, there was a number of times that we sat with clients that were actually investing too much. But the companies, such as the banks and investment companies, has become really good at ensuring that they make sure that people don't invest too much. So I have not experienced it personally, and I don't know of any of my colleagues that I personally deal with on a regular basis that have experienced a client that has invested more than 36,000 Rand on a 1-year basis and therefore being penalized. So you should not have that problem, mate. I hope you don't. You should not, but I hope you don't. Okay, let's see where we are now. Hello, sir. Good evening. I went over the income threshold and SARS says I need to pay 30,000 Rand tax. What can I do? Hello? Oh, mate, that's a bit of a problem. So I'm not a tax expert, okay? So I can't tell you what you can do. I can't tell you how to reduce it or anything. But what I would advise for somebody like you is to go and speak to a tax specialist, somebody that does this on a regular basis. They will be able to advise you as to what your options will be. I honestly don't know if SARS has a payment plan, so to speak, where you say to them, I'm going to pay you off over 12 months or whatever the case might be. So I honestly can't say what you can and what you cannot do. But I always believe that if one is not a specialist on something specific, then you go and see a specialist. Even if it's going to cost you a couple of bucks. And I mean, the tax specialists that we use and that we often do planning with for our clients is Nico Bosan from Tundra. And they charge like 750 Rand for a tax return. So this oak is not going to charge you more than 750 Rand to have a quick conversation and tell you what you can and you cannot do. So that's what I'll recommend, is go and speak to somebody that really knows and understands personal taxes and can give you a solid answer as to how you can mitigate your problem that's been created. Ob says, I just love the way you never slate any companies. I just live Oh, thank you very much. Trust me, there are companies that I really don't like. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. There's companies that I don't like. There's companies that I don't deal with. There's companies that I honestly wish would just close their doors. But I do believe in life, everybody should get a chance. Every company should have a chance. None of us is above making mistake, human error, anything like that. So I try and live a life that is honorable, if I can put it that way. And that's why, I won't really slate the company unless they really, really, really do something bad towards me directly. Then I will not promote them. I'll tell you why I will not like a certain company, but I won't slate them, because there's always a reason why a company is doing well. Even if there's a lot of stuff they do that's not good, there must be something that they're doing that's good. That is absolutely for sure. Otherwise, they won't be successful. Rikash, what's the best capital protector income product? Oh, Rikash, my man, that's a good question. So, I can't tell you. It's as easy as that. I can't tell you, and the reason why I say I can't tell you is, Rikash, because if you go and do the capital protector income product that you're talking about, could now either be an income protection product for disability, or it can be for retirement. So I believe what you're talking about, capital protector income product, is a capital preservation option, or a capital preservation option whereby you go into retirement, you get an income, and they say to you that, okay, in the event of your death, whatever the capital is that's going to buy you this income now, we'll protect that capital, we'll give it to your beneficiaries when you pass away. It's going to depend on things like, and in that specific week that you retire, which company has got the best annuity rate, because that will tell you which company is going to give you the highest income. Then with that company, they have to give you a life policy in order to protect this capital. And now it's going to be, what is their life risk rates? Because the lowest risk rate would be the best one, so that you use the least of your income in order to buy that life policy for yourself. So the best combination would be highest interest, highest annuity rate, lowest risk cost. And you would like to combine those into the product. The problem is that the company's annuity rates differ. So this week, Sanlam could be the best. Next week, Liberty can be the best. The week after that, it could be Momentum. Okay? So we cannot say for certain which company is on a weekly basis the one that's going to give you the best income. And then when it comes to the risk premiums, it's the same story. The risk premiums will change from company to company, age to age, etc., etc. So I'm not trying to avoid the question. Please understand me. All I'm trying to say to you is that the only way to determine which is going to be the best company for you will be at the date of retirement, at the date of actually doing the quotations for you. Only then, once all the company's quotations has been done and it's been put next to each other, can one see company A is better than company B is better than company C. But once again, I will stick to the tried and tested, the big ones, the Old Mutuals, the Sanlams, the Momentums, the Liberties. I will stick to the tried and tested, the big ones. I will not go with a small insurer that is little known or is just coming to the market. That I won't do. Okay. Custom by Another. Custom by Another says, are you tied or independent? I'm actually both. I am one of a few people in South Africa that is still allowed to be tied and independent. So I've got an independent brokerage and I've got a franchise, an Old Mutual franchise. I've got both of these companies. And yeah, it's just legislation has not changed. So I haven't had to change my licenses. And therefore I'm in the lucky position that I am I've got a leg in both of these camps. Kunta said, that's exactly what I want to do. Thank you for confirming that. 100% Kunta. I'm glad that I answered the question the way you were hoping for. Manella says, I'm listening, but that view stole the whole show. Absolutely beautiful. Exactly how I want to retire. Oh, fantastic. Mamela, Yassi. Folks, thank you for all the good comments tonight. Yeah. I thought today was going to be a good day. Now it's an excellent day. People giving me such good comments. I'm very, very thankful. Thank you. Let's see, whatever. I do cause dumb episode. Oh, did APSA allow you to transfer more? I'm so sorry to hear that. Listen, Sujay, I can't do it now. I don't think if I contact him now. But Sujay, I don't know if you've got my WhatsApp profile number. If you're close to your phone at the moment, let me give you my WhatsApp profile number. And then you just send me a quick message, okay? And then what I'll do with the biggest of pleasure is I will contact my tax guy tomorrow. And I'll tell him about the situation. I'll ask him what can be done. And then I'll give you some feedback. Okay. So here's my number. 060-541-4685. I repeat, 060-541-4685. That's my WhatsApp number. All my social media WhatsApps goes to that number. Contact me there. Put your name down. Tell me you were asking this question. I promise you I'll check in with him. I'll come back to you. I'll give you an answer. Okay. Kunta, do you mean his response to my question? Thank you very much, Kunta. Customer, 700 Rand for tax consultants industry stand. Man is being honest. Oh, I didn't know that. Gonna have to speak to my tax guy. I thought he was giving people a special. Ikshan Bikies, when pumping a lump sum into your home loan, will there be any negative tax implications? Ikshan, no. There's no negative tax implications because the money that you pump into your home loan is already money that you've earned. Okay, it's either money that you've earned in the form of commission or salary, so you've already been taxed on it. And when you pay money into your home loan to pay it off quicker, you can't be penalized by SARS for paying off a debt quicker. So no, there's absolutely no negative tax implications. Actually, there's only positive implications for you because now that you are pumping this lump sum into your home loan, you are paying your home loan off quicker. So that means that you are saving interest that you would have had to pay. So it can only be to your benefit to pay off your bond quicker. Okay. Antsman, you back. Good evening, mate. How's Cape Town doing tonight? Thank you very much, Mamelo. I appreciate it. He is absolutely phenomenal. Can I ask you to take out a banner or something and tell everybody? Thanks, Mamelo. I appreciate the comment, mate. Neshkoza, I hope I pronounced your name right. How about Allan Gray Offshore Investment? Do you think it's a good step to invest? Absolutely. Allan Gray is a very good company. Allan Gray has good portfolios. I make use of Allan Gray portfolios. Even when I use my favorite investment platform, Old Mutual, I make use of Allan Gray portfolios. So they are good. At last check, their offshore portfolios and offshore investments have done very well. I don't make use of their offshore portfolios very often because the global equity fund that I use and the MSCI fund that I use through Old Mutual have been doing better than just about any fund in South Africa over the last 16 to 25 years. But I do know from having a look at some of these Allan Gray offshore portfolios that there has been time that it's been outperforming and the overall returns are very good. So absolutely, I don't think you can go wrong by making use of their offshore investments and portfolios. It is a good step to invest. The only thing I can't tell you if it will be good for you, because you as an individual need to take into consideration things as how long are you going to invest for, how much risk are you willing to take. etc., etc. I believe that anybody that's got a investment time frame of 5 to 7 years or longer can take reasonably a reasonable amount of risk. So it shouldn't be too much a problem. But obviously, I can't give you exact advice unless I consult with you directly. So Neshkoza, go for it. I don't think you can go too much wrong with somebody like Alan Gray. Custom buy another Ihsan bike. Isn't the tax special only? Correct. You are 100 correct. I am indeed an investment and risk specialist. But the little bit I know about tax, okay, helps me because I know how the taxes on investments works, and therefore I can help people with their investment planning and retirement planning, and especially post-retirement planning, to ensure that their taxes are on the lowest possible rate. That's where my tax specialities comes in. Can't do a personal tax return. Can't even do my own e-filing. Can't even do my own e-filing. But I can tell you which will be the best investment in retirement to pay the lowest taxes. That I can do. Kunda says, Letoba, I wish a lot of youngsters take his advice, could set them up well. Oh man, Kunta, I tell you, that is one of my dreams, is to have a positive influence on the youth of South Africa. And when I say the youth of South Africa, I don't care if you are 5 years old or 25 years old or 35 years old. I see you still as a youth. And if I could have a positive impact to help change the attitude towards investing for younger South Africans, I will be so happy, because I tell you, if we can just change 20% of people's attitudes with regards to investments, in 40 years from now, South Africa will be a completely different place. Just because 20% more people have started investing and making provision for their retirement. It will spill over into every facet of life, into the economy, people's personal lives, everything. I'll jump on my soapbox, but I promise you, just 20% of younger people will buy into it and start doing it. South Africa will be a completely different place in 20 to 40 years from now. Kunta and Mamelo, you guys are welcome to contact me. I gave out my WhatsApp number, Anana. Let me tell you again, just in case, it's 060-541-4685, 060-541-4685. Contact me on WhatsApp. We set up an appointment, we get together, we chat. Gladly, gents, I will gladly assist you. Oopsie. Sorry, folks. Let's see. User 85 says, my RA has matured 3 years before my actual retirement. Should I leave the RA to avoid tax or withdraw? Okay, so if you say your RA has matured 3 years before your actual retirement, excuse me, I can only assume the scenario is something of the following. Your retirement date at your company is, say, age 60. But your retirement annuity has a maturity date of age 56. And that's what you mean with your RA has matured before your retirement. Now, with regards to the retirement annuity, it is now your choice whether you actually want to cash it out, start taking income, or whether you want to leave it. And you say, should I leave the RA to avoid tax or withdraw? You can't avoid tax. Okay, that's the one thing we can't do. We can't avoid tax. Yes, we can manage tax. We can make use of the rules and the legislation that we've got to reduce the tax implication that we're going to have. Okay, but you can't avoid the tax. So whether you leave the money there to keep on growing until it gets to your actual maturity age of 60, the one that I've used as an example, or whether you decide now to take 1/3 and 2/3 as the income, it's really not going to have any impact in terms of taxes. It's not going to have any impact in terms of taxes. Because whether you take the money now, whether you take the money at the age of 60, especially if we talk about the 1/3 option, for example, okay, the rule stays the same. The first 550,000 across all retirement products is tax-free. Then you've got your sliding scale for the rest. So whether you take it now, or take it in future, or take a portion now and then a portion in future, everything gets counted together to just give you the 550,000 and then the sliding scale. With regards to the income on the 2/3, now that could be potentially an additional tax implication for you. Because if you are earning an income at the moment, and let's say you're on a 26% tax bracket, and now you start taking this income from the 2/3, it gets added to your current income, okay? So number one, if the taxes are not deducted correctly from the retirement annuity that's now been converted into an annuity, if the tax is not calculated correctly so that you still pay your 26% tax, at the end of the year with the tax returns, you're going to have to pay in. The second thing is, if that income that you get from the 2/3 is so big that it actually increases your income so much that you move into the next tax bracket, which is a 31% tax bracket, okay, then you've got an even bigger tax problem. So, on the 1/3, no real benefit or pros or cons whether you take the money now or into the future. It's literally on the income portion that if you take it now, it could have an income on your personal tax on your income on a year-to-year basis. If you don't need the money, and this is the easy decision to make, if you don't need the money from the retirement annuity, just leave it until you get to retirement and retire then from your pension fund and your retirement annuity, everything in one go if need be. So that's the easy thing. As a matter of fact, if you do not need the funds, you can carry on paying your retirement annuity. The fact that it's come to maturity does not mean that you have to stop. All companies have the option that you can actually keep on paying your RA on a month-to-month basis going forward. So, user 850, my advice is just keep the RA, whether you just keep it in a paid-up state to keep on growing, whether you keep it with payment of premiums, that is your best option until you get to your actual retirement. Sujay says, thank you, it's a pleasure. Let's see. Whoa, there we go again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the good comments. Mamelo said, I just sent a WhatsApp message. Thank you. Let's see. Mamelo, and I've got your WhatsApp message. Thank you very much. I will speak to you when we finish with this live, which is in about 20 minutes. I'll send you a message back, okay? Speak to you just now, or send you a message just now. Speak to you later. Webster says, hi Corey, how's it Webster? I haven't seen you in a while. Hi Corey, there is a stat that shows only 6 to 10% of people can comfortably retire in SA. How does the rest survive? Webster, now this is the thing, the stat is true. The stat is true that only 5 to 10% of people can retire. But it says comfortably, okay. So this is normally what it goes to. If you earn 10,000 Rand a month for argument's sake and you get to retirement, normal, how can I put it? The average person, okay, that earns 10,000 Rand a month and now gets to retirement, normally can retire comfortably with 8,000 Rand. And the reason why they can retire comfortably with a little bit less is because we don't have all the expenses we had when we were working. I don't have to go to work and pay so much petrol anymore. I don't have to spend so much time on my phone anymore. My house is paid off. My car is paid off. There's other expenses I don't need. So the 2,000 Rand that I reduce my income by is fine because that's expenses that I don't pay anymore and I can retire comfortably. The problem now comes in that people can't retire with 80%. So now people end up retiring with 60 or 50 or 40% of their income. So people do still retire with some income, but the income is so small that now they have to make some drastic changes in their lives. They have to cancel their Showmax, Netflix, DSTV, YouTube, Dole Tutti. They have to move into a smaller place. They have to start eating Checkers food because they can't afford Woolies anymore. They have to reduce their medical aid from a comprehensive medical aid to hospital plan, and so on and so on and so on. So that's what happens. So the rest do survive, but in many cases they survive at a much lower lifestyle. Their comfortability of their lifestyle reduces significantly. And then we live in a generation where it's called the sandwich generation, where a lot of people have to look after their parents because their parents don't have enough pension funds and they have to supplement them. And then they have to supplement the kids that hasn't moved out of the house yet. So that's also something that happens on a regular basis, is people that doesn't have enough are reliant on family members. So people do survive, but it is difficult out there, and a lot of times, a lot of people is in dire straits because of their circumstances. And I also believe that is why there is such an increase in not only South Africa but worldwide of things like depression and mental issues. Because people, it's very difficult to lift yourself up when you've always looked after yourself, and suddenly you have to, I almost want to say, beg somebody to look after you. So Webster, I hope that's answered your question. And this is also why we keep on, and I specifically keep on talking about investments and retirement, and why I keep on motivating people, because I know from all the planning that I've done over the years how important it is for people to have that pride to one day be able to retire and have enough. And the only way to achieve that is to make sure that you keep on investing and not to retire too early. So there we go. Did I skip a couple now? Oopsie. I hope I've answered you, Webster. It is something that I feel very passionate about, I must be honest with you. Claude says, do you have rough stats of percentage of people that take living versus guaranteed? Good to see general trend. Oh, Claude. Claude. I don't have percentages, okay. I don't have stats. But I'm going to tell you something, Claude. I'm going to tell you something that I put in a video yesterday, and I'm waiting for the backlash. I'm sure it's going to happen. When I came into the industry, there was, according to my experience, what I saw, more guaranteed plans sold than living annuities. But these days, I see much more living annuities being sold than guaranteed plans. And my personal opinion is that it is not so much because the living annuity is better than the guaranteed. I do think that advisors do that for the money, for the commission. And the reason why I'm saying that is, if you compare a guaranteed life annuity versus a living annuity, the upfront commission that an advisor can take is 1.7% on both plans, okay? On the guaranteed annuity, once he has received his 1.7%, that's it. There's never anything payable again because there's nothing further that needs to happen. But on the living annuity, the advisor can choose an ongoing fee from 0 to 1%, because on an annual basis, he has to go back to the client, he has to check in on the income percentages, lift it, bring it down, change portfolios, whatever. You have to keep on servicing the client. So, on living annuities, over and above the upfront 1.7%, the advisor can take a further fee. So how do you build yourself a passive good income stream? You put everybody into living annuities. And if you've got 200, 300, 500 million rand of living annuities under your own management at, let's say, 0.5%, you can do the sums. You are earning a pretty packet. So it's called building a book. So this is my honest opinion. I do believe that a lot of financial advisors are skewed in their view of how they see guaranteed annuities and living annuities, because the living annuity is the thing that builds up that passive income so that I don't have to work so hard in the future. And therefore, make no mistake, living annuities and guaranteed life annuities both have a place. I do believe that guaranteed life annuities is better for the person that does not have enough or is on the border, while a living annuity is much better for the person that's got more than enough. So they both have their place. But I do believe that my perception, like I say, I think there's going to be backlash, is a lot of financials out there promote living annuities more than guaranteed investments or guaranteed annuities, because they know that they can ask that ongoing fee and build their book. Claude, I hope you didn't get me in trouble here. Webster says, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Corey. It's a pleasure, Webster. I am glad if what I explained works. Mr. Esterhuizen, good evening. Long time no see. Claude, thank you for a brilliant answer. It's a pleasure, Claude. I wonder how many other people are going to feel the same way, especially if there's a bunch of financial advisors on this call. Then they might just be going, hey, we have to get this out of air. Cosmoskin says, good evening. Good evening, Cosmoskin. Ladies and gents, come. One or two of you must post in another question or two. I can't believe it, but I'm keeping up with the questions tonight, even though I'm giving comprehensive answers. I'm keeping up with the questions, and I'm sitting now for the first time in weeks with, I see there's 63 people on the TikTok live at the moment, but I do not have a single question to answer. That is absolutely unbelievable. Any case, hey, Marius Robocop, I see it says here, invite Marius Robocop to join you. You should see Marius Robocop. This is one of my big mates. He's got one leg, one of the funniest guys that I know, one of the most active and inspirational people. I wonder where he is. Okay, Cosmoscan says, I am waiting for the DPSA circular so that I can make an appointment with you. Cosmoscan, by all means, I just don't know what you're talking about when you say the DPSA circular. So please tell me what you are saying. Mr. Future Thing says, I have won a lottery. Where would be the first place to stash money? So if you have won the lotto, Mr. Future Things, first thing I'm going to tell you is, remember, lotto can be $100, the lotto can be 100 million, okay? So if it's $100, it's not worth it. But if you've won a substantial lottery, my opinion, put the money in the bank the moment you get it, go on holiday, 6 weeks. If you need to, 8 weeks. Take a month off or take 2 months of unpaid leave. Just go and live the life. Just go and get away, be away, okay? Just so that you can get this feeling of this is what the rich people do, is they're permanently on holiday, they're permanently drinking pina coladas and whatever, just so that you can get that out of your system. And at the same time, to make sure that all those people that are going to ask you for money can't reach you. So that's my first recommendation. Take a long holiday, get away, don't let anybody know that you've won it. Then once you have done that, then you only make a decision. So get over the excitement, okay? Because we do stupid things when we are excited. Then once you have gotten over the excitement, then you start looking about where and how to invest the money. And especially if you've won a substantial amount of money in something like a lottery, there is going to be numerous places for you to invest. Many people that's going to have suggestions. What you need to do is you have to go and I almost want to say compartmentalize your money and say, this is only going to be for retirement. This is going to be for future dreams that I want to live out. This is going to be my gambling money. I'm taking this money and this is where I'm going to use it for all those guys that come to me and tell me that, oh, I've got the next big thing. 100,000 Rand and you're going to make R1 million in 2 weeks. That's what you do. You have to go and compartmentalize it and you have to try and think about it and do the work with regards to your lottery money. without emotion and absolutely just on facts, which is, trust me, when it comes to the psychology of money, one of the most difficult things to do. So in terms of where to stash your money, I'm not going to give you a product answer. I'm going to give you a mental answer. What I've explained to you now is how you should mentally approach it. And if you approach it correctly mentally, you're going to see lots of opportunities and you will have a great future with your money. Philip says, G'day, where would you save money at 10K per month for years? 10K per month for years saving for a car. Philip, it depends on how many. Oh, 3 years. Okay, sorry, Philip, 3 years. There you go. So, Philip, for 3 years, what I would do, that's 10K a month. That's 120,000 Rand per annum. That's 360 for the. I'll go to a bank and I'll ask the bank for a decent interest rate. Money market account, fixed deposit, if they're willing to take it on an ongoing basis. That's where I will put my money. Because if you put it into an endowment, you are limited at withdrawing the money in the 3-year period in terms of what you get as a return. So that's not going to work. If you put it into a unit trust, the cost comes off first, 3.5%, about 3.5%. So your funds now has to grow at 9, 10, 11, I would say 12.5%, 13% in order to get the same return as what you would be getting into the bank. So yeah, I would say, Philip, you just go to a bank. The savings account, although it's not a sexy thing, although there's tax implications, is the best place to go and save the money for this car. And you're not going to have any tax implications on it in any case until the 3rd year. And only if you are in there for most of the 3rd year, only then will the interest be so much that you will have to pay tax on it. So that's where you go. Go and find a good savings plan or a savings bank account with a bank that's willing to give you a decent interest rate. Pump that 10K a month in there. Claude says, view on living versus discretionary ability to invest on your own. Claude, view on living with discretionary ability to invest on your own. So in terms of discretionary ability to invest on your own, my personal opinion is if you have done enough homework, if you've taught yourself enough about investments, if your funds are discretionary funds, and just for everybody at the call, discretionary funds means voluntary money. It means the money that I have personally saved, whether you've saved it in a unit trust or an endowment or a bank account, doesn't matter. That's your money, it's your voluntary money that you save. So if you've done enough, if you've educated yourself enough and you feel comfortable that you can make informed investment decisions with your own money, then absolutely you do your own thing. You do not have to make use of a financial advisor then. But if you have not, okay, if you, we always joke about it, the oak that stands around the braai on a Friday night and having a beer, and then the guys say, hey, yes, we have to buy Telkom shares tomorrow because they're going through the roof. And tomorrow the guy just wants to go and buy Telkom shares because he heard it from somebody at a braai. It's not a good idea to do. So if you that type of investor that just jumps at or thinks about every next best thing, next great thing, then get yourself a financial advisor and make use of the financial advisor, somebody that you can trust. So even if you have to go to 2 or 3 of them, do so. But if you have the know-how and the knowledge, you do your own investments. Just take into consideration and realize that in certain investments that you do, alternative investments, unit trusts, bank investments, savings investments, endowments, retirement annuities, you're always going to need somebody that can assist you with the paperwork, which effectively means that you need an intermediary to do it. And the intermediary is going to take commission. Now, if you contact, goodness gracious, I can't see what's, oh, there we go. An intermediary is going to earn commission because law says that an intermediary can earn commission. And the intermediary is basically a broker, a financial advisor that doesn't give advice, they just sell the product. So you're going to need somebody like that. So even if you decide for yourself where you're going to invest the money and you make use of a variety of investments, you're still going to pay the commission whether the advisor gives you advice or not, because somebody needs to do the paperwork and they're going to take a fee for doing the paperwork. It's very few investments that you can do, Claude, on your own, I believe, where there's not going to be a commission payable or a cost payable. D-Man says, hi, what's your opinion on Satrix investments? I think Satrix investments are good investments. I've got a Satrix contract myself for some clients. And yeah, Satrix, absolutely nothing wrong with them. I think, like I said previously, is when you speak to 10 different financial advisors, each of them will give you a different company that I think is the best. And it's purely as to which company that advisor has had success with, trust in, and feel comfortable with. So although I've got a Satrix investment contract and can do the Satrix products, I don't do them on a regular basis. I do not pay enough attention to their portfolios, but I do know it's a good company with good portfolios. Mr. Future Things, what's the best route to invest for kids? Because educational policies are a scam. So educational policies is just a nice ribbon that's tied around a product, okay? At the end of the day, an educational policy is just a normal endowment or a normal unit trust. That's the thing. We don't have 110 different investments in our world. We've got unit trusts, we've got tax-free, we've got retirement annuities, and we've got endowments. Those are the four. But then companies go and they say, oh, you need to take out an educational policy. You need to take out a university policy. You need to take out a World Cup policy because you want to go watch the World Cup in 7 years' time. It's just a name that's being given, it's just a name that's being put. Let me put it that way. It's just a name that is being put on the endowment to make it look special. Okay, so that's the first thing you have to understand. It's an educational policy is nothing else than a normal investment. That is the scam of an education policy. But if you choose the right investment in terms of the tax-free, unit trust or endowment in the right portfolio, that is the most important thing. If you choose the right investment with the right portfolio for your kids, you're not going to have a problem. You're going to have a brilliant educational plan. Department of Public, oh, Cosmoscan, I see. Department of Public Services Administration, yes, sorry, I know what you're talking about now, Cosmoscan, and I hear what you're saying, 100%. Whenever you're ready, give me a call. With financial incentive for those 55 plus to 60 baking space, the new era of youthful comrades. Oh, Cosmos cunt. I know they've approved it, but you know what? Can I say something? And please don't crucify me for this, but don't buy into that bullshit. Please. This thing about you have to make new space for the younger and the more youthful. Oh, man. That to me is just a load of rubbish. Yeah. Sorry. Let me not get into that. Okay. Let me see. Gents, ladies and gents, it's 7 o'clock. Let me run through the last few ones here. Mamelo says, Money Matters has dribbled me for years. Great stuff. Sando says, gained a new follower, enjoying your session. Thank you, Sando. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. There we go. Eric Red Bull says, what's the difference between Sanlam Retirement Annuity and Nedbank Retirement Annuity? The Sanlam Retirement Annuity is better. That's it, Eric. That is my opinion. The Sanlam Retirement Annuity is just better than the Nedbank Retirement Annuity. Better portfolios, better growth rates, better advice, better service. Banks should keep to banking. Insurance companies should keep to insurance. What's your opinion on frank investment? I have no idea what frank investment is, so I don't have an opinion. Sorry, Lobby. Willem Labuskaghni, hallo, wat is dit beter een om geld te belê of 'n eiendom te koop en uit te verhuur? Oh, Willem, just folks, Willem says, what is the better option? To take money, invest it, or to put it into property, buy property and then rent it? Willem, if you've seen some of my videos, you will know that I'm not a property fan. I can give you 110 reasons why I would not buy a property. And so Willem, absolutely, if you ask me, invest the money, forget about the property. The property is too many headaches. One property is not an investment, it is a liability. That is my opinion. If you can buy 10 different properties, different story. So, Willem, I will gladly make 20 more videos on properties as to why I don't think it's good. I know there's people that do brilliantly with properties. Absolutely. I've got a friend that does brilliantly with properties. But based on personal experience, for myself, clients, friends, family members, what I've seen, what's happened over the years, I will never advise anybody to go and buy a property. If you really want to invest in property, then take an investment in a property portfolio. But don't go and buy a house and rent it out. You're just lining yourself up for headaches. Thank you very much, Philip. Enjoying his league night for me. Enjoy it. Have a good one. Optimistic statement intended. Thank you, Cosmos Kid. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ishan. Thank you, folks. Eric Red Bull, this is the last time I'm going to give this out, folks, and then I'm going to say good night. So Eric Red Bull, where you can get hold of me is the following. My WhatsApp number is 060-541-4685. I'll repeat it one more time, 060-541-4685. Send me a WhatsApp. I will contact you. I will give you feedback. Okay. Chris Everson, renting property, must I sell or keep? I can't tell you, Chris. I don't know how successful it is or not. Okay. Tadu says, no debt, trying to build emergency fund. I should pump it up and pause investing or do both. You do both. Don't stop. Just please contact me on WhatsApp, folks, for any further questions. Otherwise, I'll see you again next week, Thursday night. Have a wonderful week. It was lekker spending time with you all. All the best.